accustomed to some of the early mid ganks from Vulcan, the support ganks, then it would have been a completely different story. So we are going to get the trade back the other way this time around. This time around, FlyQuest don't make the same mistake. They get the Zeri, and they give EG the options for picking up Ahri. Last time around, Danny with the hands on the Zeri, and he made them regret it.
Priority on the AD carry role here for FlyQuest, a pick for themselves, a deny against the geniuses. EG locking in that Ahri. Those of y'all who tuned in for the LEC finals today, we got to see some Ahri play over there. Some pretty impressive Ahri play, actually. So I'm curious to see if Jojo can keep it on the same level.
And Inspired is kind of the last member fighting for Rogue, since Rogue got 3-0'd earlier today.
He's got to carry the flag.
Rogue lost, but maybe Inspired will win. And he locks in the Xayah for his teammate there. Definitely a very prominent answer into the Zeri because of the lethality. Muramana build that we go with Xayah on has some really strong burst damage, as well as a lot of scaling options and very much anti-dive. So very mobile carries picked up for EG. Thus far, not super long range, but definitely very mobile. They both have ways to avoid Jarvan.
Yeah, well, let's see what else they want to lock in next to this. Okay, the Yuumi picked up. How are we feeling about this first half of the draft for FlyQuest?
Yuumi on Zeri Flowers. That is some peanut butter and jelly level of combinations. Definitely very scary later on into the game. The Yuumi obviously scales incredibly well, and it also enables melee carries. Maybe one of the reasons there you get the little hover over from Jojo, taunting with the Yone pick, because melee carries are very good late game options for FlyQuest to pair with that Yuumi as well. And it's going to be an early lock in here for Vulcan. I think it's incredibly important for EG to lock in these CC champions for Vulcan. These champions where Vulcan has the ability to be the initiator for the team, and grabbing either a Nautilus or a Leona. And since Nautilus is banned out, Leona is the go-to pick for him. No surprises here.
Yeah, I mean, when we think back to the series that EG had against Team Liquid last week, it was that first game with Vulcan on the Yuumi, as opposed to being on one of these Engage, one of these CC, one of these champions that can start fights off, that looked the worst for him. So I'm glad that EG is saying, you know what, you can have the cat, we don't want it, give us Leona instead. Feels much better. Viego banned out along with the Vex.
Yeah, Vex is a protection ban for the Ahri. It's one of the predominant counter picks into Ahri. LeBlanc is already banned out by FlyQuest, so that is one of the other big options that people choose into the Ahri, especially with Veigar as well being taken off the cage, and toucouille's Zoe being whittled down here. They are really putting a bit of pressure on his champ pool.
And I like the fact that they're focusing mid like this, because they've already showed their own mid laner. They'd love to leave that last pick of the draft for a top lane counter pick as well. Trundle's the final ban.
And there's still a couple things you can do into the Ahri. The Syndra is a pretty good option. That's in fact what Jojo used last time around on the other end of this matchup. So toucouille could go with just the reverse rematch here, him being the one with the Syndra into Jojo's Ahri, or you can go with attack damage, very strong lane dominant carries for mid lane, like and rush a Hex Drinker, like a Lucian or something like that.
Well, we're going to get our jungler here for EG. It's Xin Zhao locked in. Of course, they did us the favor of hovering both the Nidalee and the Renekton for fans, because we all know how much fans enjoy seeing those two champions. And now, what's FlyQuest going to pick? It's got to be a blind top laner for Kumo. Impact will have that counter pick here. So what does Kumo want to take?
They could also just pick mid and answer mid here, because they know they're playing into the Ahri, but it's going to first be the Ornn picked up, and now the drum roll. What is it going to be? Syndra or Lucian?
All right.
I would say they need some AP. Probably not going to be a lane Nocturne.
I would expect not.
Definitely.
Are you out there somewhere?
So Zeri does do some magic damage, but probably going to be some more AP here.
All right, very standard stuff. Orianna. Is Orianna probably like the most standard mid laner in League of Legends? I feel like
100%. She has been most viable through the most number of patches, I feel like, for mid lane throughout the history of League of Legends.
That's what I was looking for.
Let's get into it, though. EG counter pick on top side. So many options when you get blind picked here with an Ornn. What does Impact want to try and answer with? The Gwen is in fact locked in.
Okay.
Very good versus tanks. Gets to scale up early on, gets to pick Conqueror. Very, very strong chase down on this champion. And Gwen is also pretty good into combinations that use Yuumi plus Zeri. The W is very, very effective in these scenarios and gives you the possibility of playing that front line. So they've got the Gwen Zhao front line for EG, the ultimate immunity front lines, and we'll see if this is going to be enough for EG to continue their win streak versus FlyQuest.
Or can Kumo be able to land some of those clutch Ornn horns? There's no Braum or any sort of protection there against them, so Evil Geniuses are going to have to be aware of exactly what they're team fighting around in this one. I am excited to see how it goes. I'm excited to see how top lane is focused, because whenever you have a carry like Gwen, whenever you have one of these champs that can take over the game in one... Alrighty, let's do it! I always love the light show. It's so much better with the fans in here, too. You get the lights, the sounds, the entire experience of Summoner's Rift in a playoff best of 5 here. Remember, we are no longer playing for an easier road to the finals. We're not playing upper brackets. This is lower bracket weekend. You either stand up here or you fall down till summer. Ain't no more second chances. Let's see how this level 1's gonna shake out here. Inspired stepping up. Not gonna place a ward down anywhere just yet. All right.
Leave everything on the Rift, Flowers. This is it. You said it. Elimination matches from here on out. Lower bracket run. Can Evil Geniuses or FlyQuest make it all the way through? FlyQuest have been biding their time since Super Week, practicing, crafting some sort of, not evil plan,
a good
to take down their nemesis. Exactly, a plan for good, a plan for the trees.
You sound like an Ivern skin new voiceover.
Well, the Lorax is basically the mascot of FlyQuest. So we'll see here. Impact actually getting a little deep here into enemy territory.
Oh, wait, never mind. We got Impact getting into a little bit of a scuffle with Kumo, but it's Impact who's left worse for wear after that. Down to about half HP here. Doesn't drink any of his potions. Kumo's going to go over the wall. Blue buff just gets picked up here. Impact can't do anything more to interfere with it. So, all right, everything just sort of goes away without any extra summoners or anything being blown at level 1. The big deal is just Impact losing a potion's worth of HP. It'll make those early trades at least a little bit more survivable there for Kumo, maybe be able to wear him down a little bit.
Plus, the Evil Geniuses bottom lane do pull for Inspire to get Xin for a little bit of a quicker start there. Jose got a little bit of burst damage on that blue buff, but it is going to be bottom side start here for Inspired, pathing up towards the Gwen lane on the top side. Make sure he doesn't get ganked early on.
Ooh, nicely done.
Jojo, I mean, there's a big reason why there was a magnifying glass put on the mid lane for this matchup. Last time around, the game that we mentioned from Super Week was toucouille falling victim to every gank, and thus far, he's falling victim to every charm from Jojo, who is notorious for trying to play every lane matchup as aggressively as possible, and him being the one with the Ahri, with the assassin here, finding some very strong trades through the minions as he pushes it up.
Jojo's a lot of fun to watch because of that aggro. I always like seeing guys who want to push their advantage like this, and he's going to crash that massive wave into the mid lane tier 1.
And your reward for playing that aggressively early on and trading all of your corrupting potion charges is that you get this recall, this early recall to get back where toucouille has to keep farming up the rest of the minions here, and he can walk all the way back there for Jojo, saves his teleport, gets his Doran's ring purchased, and this is why Inspired path up towards the top side to the Gwen.
Oh boy, Kumo, you might be in some trouble here, buddy. Inspired dashing in after him, flashes in, wants to get the knock up, Wind becomes lightning, and Evil Geniuses strike first.
Yeah, and Kumo becomes gold for Inspired.
Alchemy, my friend.
He has cashed in. There we go. Looks like one part of Rogue is going to get some kills early on today. Inspired going to be able to finish up with his red quadrant now as well. Honestly, this is an ideal start for this EG lineup. They got the kill on the top side for Gwen. Impact gets to go back, teleports right back out to the lane. No summoner spells now for Kumo either. And Gwen, even early on versus a tank, can be threatening because of the Conqueror, because of the chase down potential on the dash in.
And I also think just the difference between Impact and Kumo as players can't be understated here. Impact has been one of the veterans of this league for quite a while. The guy plays pretty much every type of everything, and Kumo's really yet to prove himself. So the fact that you're playing into this matchup that you're not going to ever really have an edge in, you're playing against a guy who's just world class, The job is hard for Kumo. This is a tough one, and it is a steep hill to climb, and it's going to stay that way, I expect, unless just some monstrous things happen for FlyQuest. But right now, it's Evil Geniuses, 800 gold lead here so far, winning in farm across the board, except they're in the jungle. JoseDeodo is farming a little bit faster than Inspired is, but considering Inspired made that gank work up in topside, he's perfectly fine with that. EG's early game going A-OK.
Yeah, very curious, too. He is leaving his red buff up. Inspired has yet to take his first red buff, is leaving it for way later into the game, going to super delay the pickup here because he's transitioned fully down to the bottom side for the spawn of this dragon.
Well, Inspired will be down there near that. He's got Vulcan roaming with him. JoseDeodo's clearing out his Raptors. Now, he has already used his combo there with the EQ. Inspired moves in, should be able to steal away that big chicken. Yeah, and Inspired, skipping his red buff, is level 5 now to the level 4 of JoseDeodo.
It's really intelligent, actually. You know, he leaves his red buff up there to go link up with Vulcan on his support roam timer. The level 3 Leona going to provide so much more on the support roams than the Yuumi here for Aphromoo, and so they bully off and they steal away most of the Raptor camp there from Jose. So as you were mentioning, Inspired not only got off the first gank and got the first kill here, but he's also ahead in experience over Jose and looking for another gank.
Well, Jojo lands that point blank taunt. toucouille tries to get out, but there is no way home. Inspired is making this early game look easy.
That is an LEC MVP for you right there. Inspired is on fire this game.
Looking very, very good here. Unfortunately, both the kills did end up on the Zhao as opposed to the Ahri or the Gwen, so not ideal in that respect.
You say that, but come on, we're just
all right, everybody likes to be a fed Zhao. I will give you that one, but now JoseDeodo is seeing if maybe he can return the favor up here in the top side. Impact doing a good job there, immuning the first part of the damage in the combo. He gets his level 6. Impact is trying to fight back here, needs a little bit more from the needlework, but no, sir. JoseDeodo gets on the board for FlyQuest.
Yeah, Impact fighting there for the level 6, clearing out some of the minions, does get access to his ultimate and actually causes Jose to go for the flash to make sure they can get the kill. I think they were a little bit worried about the arrival of Xin or somebody extra here to the fight and wanted to quickly finish the kill. In the end, they get it though. So FlyQuest fighting right back here. They're still down 1,000 gold due to the early presence from Inspired, who has now hit level 6, but getting something back for themselves on that top side, and Jose now has some money too.
Jose getting some of that money, getting on the board for FlyQuest, not just allowing Evil Geniuses to have total control over this early tempo. Feels really good. Still no neutral objectives taken here in this game. No early Drakes. Rift Herald hasn't spawned yet. We're only 7 minutes in, but only 7 minutes in, that 1,000 gold lead for Evil Geniuses does feel very nice. Looking back into mid lane, Jojo has rushed Mercury Treads, wants to make sure he has the extra tenacity up against the likes of the Yuumi ulti in the team fights, up against the likes of Ornn. Plenty of magic damage all over the place here too. Zeri has some innate magic damage, so a lot of value to be derived just from the stats of that. But EG is once again on the invade game, and it's Inspired and Vulcan working together. Inspired level 7 off of another chicken steal.
See what they can do off this Vulcan roam. Looking for Jose as he goes for the zombie ward, and he might become a zombie soon.
Oh no, Jose, nice sidestep away from the charm, and now the shockwave back. Evil Geniuses goes for the play, but they do not get the kill.
Jose, fancy footwork, dodges the charm, and that means his life. If he is hit there by the charm, he is dead. Huge, huge dodge from him, avoiding that invade, avoiding the Xin plus Leona combo there that is lying in wait. Gets out with his life and can transition up to the top side to finish off his clear.
Very nicely done, Jose. Gonna have to keep that up if you want to keep Evil Geniuses from getting further and further ahead. Inspired now looking towards the enemy red buff. Should be able to get this one without any complications, but JoseDeodo will go after the Rift Herald while his red buff is being taken away. So if you can secure that one, things will be all right, but we're already seeing the on my way pings coming out from Evil Geniuses. They're aware that this is what's going on. They've got the ward there in the pixel brush. They can see exactly what Jose is up to. You can see toucouille already making the rotation over into the top part of the river just to be able to shadow Jose and help him, but they know that they cannot strong arm this objective to completion, so Jose has to give up on that one about halfway through the Herald, go back into his own jungle, farm up the Gromp. Top lane's not looking too good. Kumo's stuck underneath the turret with no help, so they know they're outmanned and outgunned if it turns into a full-on.
And again, we got to keep highlighting this because it's so critical. These Vulcan roams. Vulcan had roamed up towards that Rift Herald to ensure that they could do it. He is now on his way back. to bottom lane to make sure that Danny doesn't get dove, but these differences here between Leona, between Yuumi, are a lot in the early game here, where the Leona gets the priority, can go for these offensive roams, looking to create these plays, does reward them with an early Rift Herald. Now back in lane here versus Johnsun and Aphromoo, who, to be fair, the Yuumi side does scale extremely well, and is allowing the Zeri a very nice CS lead, but they're getting targeted with yet another roam.
One of the things that I am concerned a little bit for FlyQuest here as well, you mentioned during the draft when we saw Xayah locked in, hey, this champion is great against dive. There's not really a ton of range outside of the Ornn ultimate on the side of FlyQuest. Everybody has to play into that range of Xayah. You're going to walk near feathers. You're going to walk close to blade callers. And if Danny's able to pop off in the way that we've seen him pop off before, this could be a very dangerous Xayah come 3 items.
Yeah, definitely could be. Especially dangerous, though, when you're facing a Yuumi on top of the Zeri with so much mobility. So we shall see if FlyQuest can get to their scaling breakpoints. You know, they have the Yuumi. They also have the Ornn, who will be able to hand out upgraded items. Of course, post level 13 there from Kumo.
Well, and Impact lets you.
Yeah, they want to be able to build around those team fights, but it is a difficult road ahead of them because Evil Geniuses with the early lead, definitely positioned to push that lead. Inspired still with Rift Herald in hand. This is going to go a long way, knocking down some plates and getting some of that tower damage they need to start opening up some extra space to work with.
And just because we haven't mentioned it yet, I am just going to go ahead and bring up the fact that Danny is playing Lethal Tempo. He is playing Noon Quiver as his mythic component item. So this is not going to be your Eclipse, Muramana, poke style of Xayah with the tier and everything like that. Looks like we'll get more of a traditional DPS crit-based build. And Inspired will be able to pick up this first Drake here for Evil Geniuses. 11 minutes in, not exceptionally quick, but it gets Evil Geniuses 2 out of 2 neutral objectives thus far. Honestly, the whole early game feels great for him. What is the plan for FlyQuest? I feel like we're not seeing a plan.
Yeah, I mean, their plan is scaling. As we went over, in all 3 of their lanes, they do have a strong team fight that they can rely on later. Bottom side, pretty good farm so far for Johnsun, and as long as they do not fall victim to these Ahri roams from mid lane, then they should be able to keep it up and be on a pretty smooth pace here.
So allow me to ask this then. This is the way I think I should have phrased my last question. How much are you willing to give Evil Geniuses in this early game as FlyQuest before you say, okay, our scaling's actually in a little bit of trouble now?
Yeah, not a lot, because EG don't have problems scaling over there either. I don't think that's going to be the big issue. It's going to be around fighting and around stacking up the rest of these neutral objectives here. EG already with the first dragon and has Rift Herald in hand, so FlyQuest are going to have to retake some territory here at some point, you know, bring the Ornn down, because they are going to scale Gwen into a monster as well. Will become a split push menace, and FlyQuest may struggle to put together their 5-on-5 later on in the game. EG have a lot of pick potential because they've got Leona roaming around, and on top of the Ahri, who's looking for so much mobility from the mid lane. Jojo constantly pushed up, and if you can take that mid turret with the Rift Herald, this is where it starts to get very dangerous. They've constantly had wards throughout the red quadrant of FlyQuest jungle. Here, here, here. There's always been Leona and Xin through this bottom jungle. And if you take that mid turret, then guess what? Ahri also gets to threaten that bottom lane, gets to threaten that Yuumi combination.
Well, the Rift Herald was not able to secure the entirety of the turret, but importantly, Inspired did get that one dropped down mid lane, grab the plate money while it was still available. Only 45 seconds left on turret plates. Evil Genius is bringing Vulcan back down into the bottom lane. Danny's going to keep on picking up a little bit more plate money as well. And when I'm looking back at the numbers on the mini-map, never mind, there's no time for numbers on the mini-map.
Got it!
Because we got charms, and the charms hit their marks. Inspired is on a killing spree for the Geniuses.
Got him! toucouille with the flash, but Jojo already charm in the air, gets him with it after the flash. That is brutal for toucouille. Oh my goodness. The last matchup versus EG, he gets brutalized by Vulcan with the roaming supports from ganks from support. This time around, it has been him in combination with Inspired going for all these ganks, but this one was well set up by Jojo, and they see him on the wards as well. So they've got full vision. They just cleared these wards, and toucouille goes back the dangerous route, flashes there, right through this corridor. There's not a lot of area to dodge.
No.
So Jojo with a pretty well aimed and calculated charm there. Very, very quickly picking up that kill. It's a little bit, this one probably should have gone over to Jojo, I feel like, for the rewards, but Inspired yoinks that one as well. 3-0, all the kills on EG, all on Inspired, and almost a 3K gold lead here.
Well, but are we done yet? toucouille's still trying to get away. Jojo has flash, but he doesn't have his ulti. toucouille's gonna walk away from that one. But I'm loving the focus on the FlyQuest mid laner from Evil Geniuses, because back to even what the desk was saying is, hey, what's the win condition? Who is most paramount to a FlyQuest victory? Right there in mid lane, shut him down. Keep him out of the game. 0-2 and 0 Orianna is not an ideal game state for Orianna.
Yeah.
This is what Evil Geniuses have figured out is the secret to success, and it's working.
Well, it's very difficult to pick when you have 3 lanes like this that don't have a lot of playmaking for them in the early game, and then Jarvan's got nowhere really to go for a lot of setup, and so FlyQuest have kind of been bleeding resources here through the early game. They're kind of hoping they can get to this point where they can really get one of these structured fights where Jarvan plus Orianna combo, shockwave delivery on top of an Ornn ultimate from Kumo. They're hoping that they can try and get some territory back, because EG, they run Summoner's Rift right now, Flowers. So they're going to take every neutral objective on the map. There's no mid tower for FlyQuest to even start their plays from, to have some defense from. So Rift Herald number 2 will be picked up in advance of the next dragon, and it can be a rotation from Evil Geniuses down towards that dragon with plenty of time to go. FlyQuest, though, they overload bottom side with Zeri, Yuumi, and Ornn, so it might just be split map. Maybe they trade.
Well, JoseDeodo will jump in and steal away the enemy Gromp. He'll look towards that enemy blue as well. FlyQuest sieging up on this tier 1 turret that has no plates. They will get that one for sure. Second Rift Herald of the game is summoned up here. Top side, are they even going to get the charge? Yes, okay, so the charge ends up killing off the last 5% of the turret's HP. FlyQuest still have players in the bottom side. They're just Johnsun, but now he's going to make the recall. And FlyQuest get back to base to defend the tier 2, which is still going to take the charge damage here from the Herald. No, it's not. Nicely done. Kumo made me a liar, and I'm happy.
The Ornn assassin, Flowers.
I was not expecting Assassin Ornn to just show up with the shank and stab Shelly.
Just bonk Shelly on the knee with the hammer there. Takes out her kneecaps and can't charge. Honestly, it's a pretty interesting choice from FlyQuest, though, because we were thinking, oh, maybe they'll trade sides. And they will give up the 2-tower push to the Rift Herald in exchange for Dragon to stop the Dragon stacking. But they actually did not do that. They made the call that they don't have the extra power to be able to give up any more gold in the form of a second tower. And they're just like, you know what? We actually are going to have to give up this dragon. It's just dragon number 2, and in favor of denying the gold of secondary tower there. So they recalled and reset in order to defend it. It's a calculated choice here to not give up even more gold to the side of EG. We'll see if it pays off, because it does put more pressure on the next dragons that do spawn. toucouille.
Oh boy, toucouille just gets hit with the Everfrost, follow it up with the charm, follow it up with the damage, follow it up with the first kill on somebody not named Inspired for Evil Geniuses. Jojo's in there.
Oh boy, toucouille is at it again. No flash on the Orianna, no mid lane for FlyQuest, Flowers. There's no safety at all here. And this game 1 is, I'll just say it right now, a complete flop for FlyQuest. Let's see if they can mount their dream team fight, though. Honestly, they just keep on bleeding more and more resources over to EG. And EG are not going to slow down. Remember, as much as FlyQuest have drafted for some strong 5-on-5 and some strong scaling for later with the Yuumi, with the Ornn possibilities here, and if Orianna can combo Shockwave with Jarvan, it's EG already have a lot of answers, and with all the towers down, it allows them to have Gwen start to split push. Impact's got Unleash Teleport ready, has Ghost ready, Riftmaker's already done for him as well, and the rest of the team is going to be able to threaten the 4-1 quite substantially here. Even Jojo can go lurking around, and you can get these scenarios where it's the trailing split push. One of them showing on the minion wave, the other one hovering behind, and really taking advantage. So see what FlyQuest can do to try and get some wards out on the map and get in position of the objective beforehand, before it spawns, to try and set up their battle lines. Next dragon will be soul point, so it's not the most critical. You don't have to fight on it, but it does mean that's the last one before Soul. And here's the teleport.
Oh.
This Ornn is gonna get out.
He's going home. That's the thing with Gwen. She's got no CC. She can't stop it. But Impact will be able to follow Kumo to the ends of the earth. He'll chase him back up into the top side. Now, Kobe, I want to ask you something here.
Top lane tag. They're gonna chase each other all over.
So I'm curious your thoughts here at the inventory of JoseDeodo, because he's going for a full Zhonya's Hourglass second after the Chem tank. And while this active is powerful, I personally believe Stasis is far and away the single strongest active in League of Legends that is not close. Is that worth having what is essentially not good stats for your champion when you're only on 2 items?
It's the Malrong strategy, the Chem tank and the Hourglass combination. I think it's pretty cool. Now, it does...
in this game state, when you're down 4,000.
Honestly, like you're saying, the Zhonya's, the immunity is the best way that you can be tanky. Actually soaking damage in this scenario, because your opponents are so far ahead, you're not going to be able to out-soak damage there. The Ornn is going to be the one on the front line, trying to actually soak, so... I kind of like it. It also does mean your flag hits a bit harder.
Yes.
The AP ratio there too. So
Super flag.
It does necessitate some accuracy with your combination, but we'll see if it actually plays out here for Jose. You do sacrifice regular tank stats, like health and normal resistances that you would be getting from building
a little bit arm.
regular tanks. So we shall see.
All right. I just always like to get people's opinions on something like that when it's not super common.
Yeah, I have been loving some of the plays that we've been seeing made with it in the EU LCS. It has also had flops over there as well. So depends on the play. Stopwatch is such a instance dependent item. It's not about the stats on the item, obviously. It's about how you use it.
Right. If you fat finger the thing in lane and you get no value out of it, all of a sudden it is worth literally 0. Perfect execution of it in the middle of a team fight can change the entire flow of a game. So we'll keep our eyes on Jose, keep our eyes on his stopwatch and subsequent Hourglass, but we've got about 45 seconds until the 3rd Drake of the game spawns. Evil Geniuses still sit on the cusp of almost a 5,000 gold lead. They've got both the Heralds so far. They've got both the Drakes so far. Things are looking dire for FlyQuest. They're looking to make a move on Impact, who has no summoner spells, but he can just skip back over the wall. He'll make his way out and makes that entire FlyQuest play not work, or does it?
Who's getting
Jojo having to get away now. Johnsun coming in, providing a little bit of damage. There comes your Ornn horn. Kumo's ready to slam him on back. Inspired gets caught out, but he flashes away. Jose's ready to follow. Shut down over to Kumo. Evil Genius is on the run, but Kumo's going to be killed now. Impact rampaging through, looking for toucouille, trying to chase him down a little bit more, but now he's got to be careful. Johnsun finds a bit more damage on the back end, but no more left to be found. 1-for-1 trade, but the jungler on Evil Geniuses is dead, which means objective power is not there.
And FlyQuest come alive. We start to see a little bit of what is possible and what we're alluding to with the late game Ornn and Yuumi combinations. Kumo there with the long chase. He had actually started recalling up in the brush, and EG lost track of him up there, so he was in a flank position. Still only turns into a 1v1 though, or 1-4-1, and here is that Dragon Soul Point.
Okay, Jose gets out of the pit, back over the wall. Evil Geniuses, they're gonna start this one up. They know that Inspired is on the way, so they can do this slowly. They're still standing on top of the Scuttle Crab vision of FlyQuest, so Fly knows what's going on. JoseDeodo wants to try to go for the smite still here with the blast cone over the wall, then take his own EQ combo back to safety, or does he? Already throws the flag in the pit, decides, okay, Inspired's there, we're not doing this anymore. Just wanted to be ready in case the jungler wasn't there for some reason, but it doesn't work out that way, and now one more is sold for EG.
I've got good news for FlyQuest. The Ornn now is level 13, so next level gets to start handing out the upgrades, blinging everybody else out. Here's another look at that replay and the very beginning of it, and how long they had vision of Impact and the chase that Kumo went on to end up behind the rest of the team. So you'll remember this is a very long chase, and Kumo had flashed for Impact there, and then EG kind of lose track of them as they all circle in here thinking they're going to get the pick on the blue buff. But it is the Cataclysm start there from Jose, and you know the Ornn is behind him, but Vulcan is now under attack.
Vulcan at half HP. JoseDeodo keeps up the chase, but he ends up losing a good chunk of his own health as well. Flash coming out from Vulcan. Counterattacks with his own Solar Flare. Johnson's now under pressure as JoseDeodo and toucouille are both at half HP. Impact soaking here on the front. Evil Geniuses have disengaged. They tried to get something back, but neither side has the firepower.
Late game Yuumi, baby. The Yuumi heals come through. Last time I looked, the only one with grievous wounds was Impact with the orb. Looks like they have yet to pick up another source of it as well. So if Impact is not diving the target with the Yuumi, then they're going to heal a lot, and FlyQuest will be able to take down.
Oh, Kumo having to get away from that one. Evil Genius is some good CC underneath the turret. Gonna keep that tier 1 alive. Impact approaches from the right, looking for Johnsun. Johnsun should just be able to jump away there with the help of the Yuumi, skip over the wall, no problem. JoseDeodo has his own gap closer to get out, but now Kumo has no flash, no teleport, no ulti. Inspired's gonna keep moving towards him here. Wind becomes lightning over the wall, maybe. Nope, Kumo should be able to get out of that one. Vulcan's gonna continue looking, seeing if there's an angle to cut anyone off here. Has Jojo and Impact right next to him. They will force a flash out of the FlyQuest jungler.
The long chase here. This blue quadrant of the jungle, Jose does get the last laugh. Flag gives vision, able to smite away the Gromp. Now they know that he just used one of his smite charges. Maybe there was a threat there towards the Baron. That's why we saw that blue trinket go down. So Scryers used by FlyQuest to make sure it wasn't a quick transition over to Baron. And again, they continue to scale on up here. Ornn will be able to hand out the next upgrade pretty shortly here. 2 item power spike on Zeri acquired for Johnsun with the Titanic as well. And the Yuumi healing will continue. Darksteel was picked up as well for Aphromoo, so if FlyQuest win one of these team fights, they're actually able to use some of this, frontline and hard engage that they do have to create some space for the Zeri, then they will definitely be able to stack this up as long as they can keep toucouille safe. That flash down on toucouille has been a death sentence this entire game, my friend.
Oh yeah, it's tough stuff when you're on a champion like Orianna that does not have that inbuilt mobility. Now, is worth pointing out that we also have our second Ornn upgrade here on Johnsun with that Trinity Force. That one's been buffed up by Kumo, who's done a good job not falling too far behind Impact. Yes, he's 30 CS down, but as the matchup of Gwen versus Tank goes further and further into the game, you expect Gwen to have more and more control. JoseDeodo gonna get slowed down there by the Zhao W. Now walks forward just to have that threat to be able to keep the tier 2 turret alive for the side of FlyQuest. FlyQuest still have only taken one single turret this game, the bottom lane tier 1 turret. Everything else still standing and still standing pretty strong. Impact keeps applying pressure into that bottom lane as Jojo and Danny have moved back into more of a neutral position around mid. Jojo clearing out some of these wards in the topside river that FlyQuest has placed down. But for FlyQuest, eyes are on JoseDeodo right now. He's the one with Aphromoo attached to him. He's the one making the engages, making the plays. And he's the one who will be leading the charge when FlyQuest try to make their move. Danny gets jumped on, goes up into the ulti, keeps himself safe, and now the re-engage is coming out, but Vulcan has bit off more than he can chew, and toucouille is on the board.
The FlyQuest juggernaut continues. Flower, that scaling was lying in wait. They flopped in the early game, but they're right back on their feet. And here comes the flank from Kumo. Ornn is on the way, has ultimate available.
Here it comes. Remember, there is no defensive ultimate available for Danny. His positioning must be very, very safe here. Evil Genius is going to fall back, but FlyQuest still have control over Summoner's Rift for now. Vulcan's still dead for another 7 seconds. The Soul is spawning in 20. We got ourselves a game here, buddy.
It's definitely time here for EG to be able to get back for the spawn of it. I wonder if they rush into it. Vulcan's right back up, and they're heading actually back out towards Baron right now. They might be looking to trade it. The pings go down. They're heading towards Baron, thinking they can possibly give it up for a rush on the Baron. Can they give up the Soul? It looks like FlyQuest should be able to transition over in time, though.
Yep, FlyQuest will make their way over here. Evil Geniuses are starting it up. Vulcan is going to find that control ward there, so he can clear that one out of the way. Now, what's it gonna be? FlyQuest, you gotta go in there. You gotta stop this. Baron down to 3,000 HP. JoseDeodo, he's ready to go in for the smite steal, ready for the coin flip, the 50-50. Johnson's gonna be pressured now here at the very start. Gwen is immune, but Impact is still staying alive. JoseDeodo getting himself back out. Johnson's gonna be taken low. Johnson's taken down. Jojopyun with a solo, looking for it on a toucouille, but toucouille will triumph. 1v1.
Oh, and now it's EG with the reset here. They've got the extra person advantage. The bottom lane killed off from FlyQuest. They barely had enough damage to finish him. Inspired going back in. did the deed. Now there's no Yuumi to heal up FlyQuest, and it's all on Jose to try and get that steal.
It was very important for toucouille to win that 1v1. That's the only way FlyQuest got a chance to fight back here. They are still in a 3v4. They're still dealing with EG, who have this advantage in terms of men, in terms of health, but now they've already decided to go in. It's Kumo. He's after Danny, who still has his ultimate, but he wasn't able to use it in time. Shut down over to JoseDeodo, and FlyQuest have stopped the Baron. What else will they be able to find, if anything at all? Inspired and Impact standing and fighting and taking down the enemy top laner. Jose re-engages for a nice three-man shockwave, but the follow-up is non-existent. Impact standing and fighting a little bit longer. The needlework won't do it. toucouille goes on a killing spree, and JoseDeodo goes in for Inspired. He finds the escape through the audacious charge over the wall, and Jojo is back out onto the map. FlyQuest now have control over the topside river, and FlyQuest are now the ones who finally get to breathe in the face of the EG Baron.
I, for one, am ready for Baron round number 5 already. Let's get right back to the party here. FlyQuest, they get the revival from Aphromoo. Yuumi gets out there, heals him right back up, and they stop EG from attempting the Baron again. Down to 3k health a second time. Let's take a look in our Rocket Flip the Switch replay at the beginning. This one was where the second initiations, Impact teleports out. They're trying to keep JoseDeodo away from the Baron, but then Impact went over towards the Krugs, thinking that Jose went that way, and Jose had looped back around towards the rest of them at Baron, and they just assassinate Danny. Ornn right in. Jose follows it up, and FlyQuest are able to kill off the AD carry, so EG kind of falling apart with the plan at that point. But then the fully stacked Conqueror there on Gwen, they melt through the tank. toucouille's got the shockwave to buy time for on your minimap. You see Aphromoo about to arrive. They know they've got the Yuumi on the way to continue the chase and pick up the extra kills here for FlyQuest.
And then Inspired barely manages to find that escape there onto the Krug. And with Jojopyun back out onto the map, that meant that FlyQuest couldn't go back for the Baron themselves. But we were dancing around Baron so long that we're now down to below 2 minutes before the Drake spawns again, which will create another one of these cross-map states where EG has the threat of soul at any Drake that they're able to claim, so the pressure will be on FlyQuest. But it's FlyQuest now going for the Baron themselves. Evil geniuses, they know what's going on. The Scryer's Trinket in the pit's gonna show him, but it gets immediately removed. Control ward over the wall sees Baron at about half HP. Inspired poking there where the wind becomes lightning. Jojo looking for an angle to come in and try to stop these guys. Impact also on the flank. EG, they gotta fight this right if they wanna have a chance. There goes your Ornn ulti, but it only finds Vulcan. That is not the ideal target. FlyQuest trying to get away now, but toucouille is already dead. Kumo's gonna be taken low. Inspired is tanking up everybody, and he's doing it for a day of long time. FlyQuest have collapsed under the might of evil geniuses. Kumo's gonna waste a little bit more time, but here comes the snip snip. EG just got 4 for nothing.
FlyQuest get too full of themselves, Flowers. They can't afford to group up inside the Baron pit and let EG get their flanks off. EG thrive on the flanks, and FlyQuest needed to fight the front to back. Honestly, they just got swarmed there. toucouille gets assassinated, and EG are gonna push right through.
It was a nice fight back in the mid-game from FlyQuest, but when the Ornn ulti only hits Leona, hell no, that ain't gonna work. Evil geniuses, they'll take that big win, they'll march it straight to the Nexus, and they'll take game 1.
Fun little roller coaster we go on for game number 1 here, Flowers.
Got a couple loop-de-loops in the middle.
I'm glad that
I'm glad
you got to see what the Yuumi Ornn scaling is capable of in some of these later team fights. But rushing into that Baron, allowing EG to circle from all sides.
Like sharks.
Like sharks, looking for the win, and then instantly, nice push from EG afterwards. They punish them at the Baron start, clean up all the kills, and finish off this game, running straight to the Nexus. If we remember back to the beginning of this game, though, big props to Inspired for the early ganks, the early start to this match, as well as Jojo for playing his mid lane extremely aggressive. You know, they went for the early Ahri pick here. That's what they traded for the Zeri. And Jojo, true to form, always trying to punish and play up very early on in the game, getting those summoner spells out of toucouille, and then having Inspired come and multiple people come through for ganks. Nicely punished.
They're going to have to get some Secret Service agents for President toucouille because he is just getting focused a lot in these matches versus evil geniuses. They seem to have this idea and have this plan that as long as they can keep him shut down, they're going to find the win. It worked for him in game number 1. They brought it all together, and we're